Undoubtedly one of Earth's greatest minds here.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Too Bad, the show where we watch the worst movies and try to find their silver linings. My name is Jason.
I'm Ted, and this one that we're watching today, I have never seen before, and which is weird because George Lucas produced it. Howard the Duck.
We always get Marvel movies in May, so why not do a couple?
Is this Marvel?
This is a Marvel property.
Does Disney own Howard the Duck?
If you saw the first Guardians of the Galaxy and waited for the extended scenes at the end, Howard the Duck was the final credit scene. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right around the corner.
I haven't seen that yet. Now I'm excited for the sting.
Yeah.
Really, Howard the Duck?
Yes, sir.
This movie, from the opening, didn't get it. I thought we were in for a real treat. It was a film noir music rolling in through these cinephile. I thought he was in the movies, but there's posters with all duck puns. Puns, so many puns.
Yeah.
I'll get into those. And then there's some weird laser shift that goes through to his apartment, which makes no sense. He gets ripped out of his world, which is the exact world we have, but just ducks. And then he gets thrown into our world, and
there it is.
I can't even say comedy ensues.
That's
I don't even know.
He ends up in Cleveland from wherever he is in space. Howard the Duck is sort of a precursor to Deadpool, actually. He's not what you expect, and I feel like this movie for Howard the Duck comic book audiences is not what they wanted either. You know, they didn't really know what to do with comics in the 80s. The kids sort of liked them, but it was kind of on a decline before the early 90s, and so they had this random property, and I really want to know, was it George Lucas that brought this about? Because that's the name that's attached. He's the executive producer of this film.
Absolutely.
Why Howard the Duck?
So, Howard's voice.
Yeah.
What a weirdo.
Every duck's got his limit, and you scum have pushed me over the line.
That's a strange voice. I don't know.
It is a weird voice. Unfortunately, the guy that voiced him is not the person that acts as him, and there's 13 different people or so that play Howard the Duck, the body, including the same man that plays Admiral Akbar. So,
what?
So there's a Star Wars Marvel crossover for you.
Since this show is about what's good in the movie, we can rip this up on our podcast later. First, acting. Let's go acting.
Sure. I felt like Leah Thompson, who's sort of the main, you know, she's a supporting actress in this. She is probably at her pinnacle of her acting career. Unfortunately, it's in this movie.
Yeah.
But she sells it. She's a musician, or punk rocker, I guess, in Cleveland, and she headlines this band, Cherry Bomb, and she discovers Howard and doesn't think too much of it, I guess.
No, I think that's what bothers me more about anything about her character.
Yeah.
No?
But I feel like interacting with him, she does a good job. You know, it's obviously hard to play opposite of a duck. I don't think she overdid it. You see her in things now. She's the mom on Switch to Birth.
Yes.
And she's sort of over the top on that. And I kind of felt like there's no need for that because I've seen her act in other things. Back to the Future was just, you know, weeks before that, basically. And so good on them for getting her. Her or Elizabeth Shue would have been your only options for, like, the it girl.
I liked her as well. I thought when she does accept Howard and she was about to walk away and then the rain, I thought that was an interesting motion where she felt bad for something.
Right.
I don't even know what, it's a giant duck, but you feel for this, and it talks.
And it's raining, so it doesn't bother the duck.
But she feels bad for him. And I didn't know exactly where the writing wanted to go in this, but every once in a while she would deliver a line that it was cringeworthy.
You don't know the planet? Oh, well. The planet's called Earth, I think.
Jeffrey Jones?
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah, he definitely sold his
character.
And he had a lot to deal with.
Having a demon inside you. He was good at the beginning, and I liked his character. And then when the demon happened, I thought, this got comical.
Yeah.
But it almost felt like Men in Black 1 or 2, where that thing like takes the
big
skin, the skin of a human. That's what it felt like for me. And I thought he did a really good job selling that character. The makeup.
They did a great job on the effects there. I feel like once that started to happen, once that transformation started, the movie started to shift to more of like Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters feel. and even with him in it,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, it's Beetlejuice.
Tim Robbins, really over the top.
So
and
over
I
the top.
didn't know if that was how the character was supposed to be or if that was a character choice, but it was so over the top. He was unlikable, and were we supposed to like him?
Yeah, you never knew. It was one of those characters where you're like, there's something wrong about him. I'm probably going to find out something bad later. And you don't.
Yeah, no, he's just that
He's
guy.
just a jerk. And he's the boyfriend somehow of one of the pretty cool girls in the band.
right.
And who knows? And she says times are hard. It's basically her way of explaining why that's her boyfriend.
You play at a club every night.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could find another guy.
Yeah.
Not a weird scientist that is insanely weird. Like,
Yeah.
he's crazy. Okay, so effects. This is the one that I came out with saying this is the best part of the film. Coming off of Ghostbusters in '84, Back to the Future '85, this is right in there with them.
Sure.
There wasn't anything different. It wasn't anything new, but knowing that it was George Lucas with Industrial Light and Magic, they're not going to fail you on the effects.
Right.
That's what they do, you know. So other than Howard looking super disgusting because of the costume, I just don't.
Right, it's
I
an
don't-
animatronic head.
I don't
and,
like it.
and
It
everything.
freaks me out. But everything else around it, I actually thought they did really well.
Probably the one point where they failed is near the end. This demon thing has come out of him. And the effects reminded me a lot of Star Wars, where it just doesn't
Yeah, like
fit. And-
Jedi, where the
right.
Rancor was in.
Exactly.
Yeah, that,
And
yeah.
they look different from the background, and so that's what it reminded me of. But everything else, you had these light scratches on the film and for lightning bolts and things, and it was very down home, good practical effects stuff, and I appreciated that a lot. Music was fantastic in this movie for the era, and I think everybody involved was top of their game. When you're dealing with a movie that deals with a band, you want the music to be good.
Right.
We didn't get that in Kazam.
No, we didn't.
But in this movie, the songs are well thought out, the music is well written.
Yeah.
And that's because we had Thomas Dolby, but also George Clinton, who wrote the Howard the Duck song.
Yep.
And how can you miss?
You can't.
Those
I mean,
are-
the music was perfect. And actually, the music portions of the film, even the band portions,
Right.
I actually enjoyed. That being said, the movie to me just didn't hit on all marks, but the music I really, really liked. The band, I thought they did well. I
And
thought
that's
even
them-
the score
that's
was
them
really
singing.
good. And I was like, that was really
You-
good. I would listen to that.
Right.
And it seemed like an 80s type of feel. And it works with the film. It does set up that film noir type atmosphere at the beginning. And they pull from film noir here and there to make that work. But it's more of an adventure film than anything else.
Yeah, I kind of feel like those aspects of the movie are more like Adventures in Babysitting, something like that. And you just get that feel through the whole thing. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
The writing is what holds it back.
Gosh. This is where the film lost it for me.
Sure.
I don't like puns. I don't mind puns. But when every minute there's one or two puns or there's an action sequence and someone has to say something punny or the sequences are already long. By the end of the movie, it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it is.
And halfway through, they could have wrapped it up quickly. But they take another hour to wrap this thing up. And when they get on the flying machine and they're going through, that sequence is like 30 minutes. It won't end. The last half of the movie, that's the action portion of it all. But you could have slimmed that down on the writing, I think, a lot.
Right.
Because it just dragged on.
It did.
There was no real story arc. I didn't feel for Howard. You never really liked him.
No.
He wasn't a likable guy. And if he wasn't supposed to be likable, then make him really unlikable, not sleazy unlikable. Because he felt sleazy to me. And the only person you really care about is Leah Thompson's character. But
Why?
Why? You're the idiot that's hanging out with this duck.
Right.
Like, you're putting yourself into this situation. You don't feel bad for anyone else.
Right.
And at the end, the only person that can save humankind is a duck. None of the other humans even try to help. They're Howard.
No, it's his cross to bear.
What is this? And he takes it on, and I actually don't care if he dies.
I was 4 years old when it came out, so I probably watched it when I was like 5 or 6. I don't know how that happened, but I know I saw it a lot. But I remember liking it a lot more then. And watching it again, I'm just like, okay, I can see.
Is this your Kazam?
This is my Kazam.
This is your Kazam.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So the nostalgia, is it gone?
The writing and how drawn out certain things were, the puns affected me in a bad way too. Oh my gosh. It's just a bad taste in my
Yeah, it was
my
not
mouth.
good.
We do a rating system on this show that You can never be here, because
No.
that's a good movie. We know we're in bad movie territory, but is it too bad you didn't see it because people were too hard on it, or is it too bad to ever watch again? And like I said, this is my Kazam.
Yep.
This is something that I, had just a little bit of nostalgia for, and then was kind of let down by how bad it is. However, I've had movies do that to me that are way worse. Super Mario Brothers is on another level. So,
Yeah, that is, yeah.
so I'm gonna have to put it probably right in the middle.
Okay.
If it's on, it could be background for
Yeah.
me. There's some interesting moments. There's some great performances in it. I'm not gonna never watch it again.
Right.
Go out of my way to turn it off if it's on. But I'm not gonna run and go watch this again like I
Okay.
would with another.
Yeah. For me, since it's my first one, even though I didn't like the film, I liked the nostalgic of the 80s.
Sure.
And I really liked that part of it. And knowing that there are big producers involved and the actors were good. And,
Yeah.
and you see this whole thing to come together. And it didn't work, but I still don't hate it.
Right.
I mean, well, I do hate it. Let's be honest. I hate Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
If Howard the Duck wasn't in Howard the Duck, the movie would have been solid. To me, I had Kazam mid. I'm gonna put this slightly above mid.
Okay.
And it's just because if it was on again, and I've only seen it once, so I don't know if I've given it a fair trial. But in my mind, the nostalgic of the 80s, I would throw that back in there. If you're going through the 80s and you need something from there, yeah, that sounds fun. I would like to rewatch this to see if I was too hard on Howard or if Howard really is that terrible of a duck. He's a terrible duck. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Go ahead and leave your comments down below. Tell us what you thought about Howard the Duck. And we'll be back next week with a podcast about Howard the Duck where we dive in a little bit deeper on probably my hate for the duck itself and the love for the film. We hope to see you there.